Hello, everybody. Welcome to the JNL Sports Show. It is episode 66, almost at 86, April 27th, 2021. I am, of course, joined by
Noah Marks
and
Luke Coleman.
And it is a big week upcoming. The draft is in 2 days.
It is this
Thursday night.
Yep.
A lot of mock drafts out there.
Yeah.
I've
been looking at a lot of them to figure out what I think the Steelers will do. I mean, we're going to talk about it later. I have ideas of what the Steelers are going to do.
Yeah.
It really depends on what other teams do, obviously. That's usually how it always works. But
I think everyone can agree that mock drafts are just absolutely bullshit. They mean nothing. We don't actually know what's happening.
Exactly.
With that being said, we did create a mock draft to share with everybody this episode. But first, we're gonna talk about a mock draft that came out this morning. We will get to our mock draft probably towards the end of the show. But we're gonna talk about a mock draft that came out this morning. Chris Sims of the Chris Sims podcast, and I think NFL Network. He used to work on NFL Network, maybe.
So yeah.
Sounds right. Sounds like one of those people that did. He released his mock draft, and boy, is it a lot to fucking unfold. Because not only does he not have Justin Fields going in the top 10, he doesn't have Justin Fields going into the top 31. This would mean the Steelers pass on Justin Fields. This would be the Patriots passing on him. We talked about the Saints. If he dropped that far, why the fuck wouldn't they go and grab him? Chicago is always an option for a quarterback.
You had the Saints picking a cornerback?
Yeah. This mock draft really was like, okay, so at least we're not this. You know, at least our mock draft isn't going to look like this.
Marshall not exist.
Their top 10, it starts off very similar to ours. Trevor Lawrence, obviously, Zach Wilson, Mac Jones to San Francisco, which we will talk about because San Francisco has had a lot of talk this past week. Atlanta picking Kyle Pitts, Cincinnati grabbing Jamar Chase, which is, for some reason, what the Bengals fans want. I mean, did you see the picture of Joe Burrow sitting on, the throne in his knee? The scar on his knee. I mean, the dude's 20, right? 22?
You are at pick number 5. You are in the spot to pick the best lineman in the draft. Why would you not?
Possibly one of the best linemen we've seen in a very long time in the draft.
Why would you not?
He just doesn't give up sacks. That is a stat that he has, that he does not give up sacks. And Cincinnati needs that. Needs someone to be there and not give up sacks.
I would be surprised if they went with Chase. I mean, he's very good, so it's but they need an offensive line.
Correct. And then we got Miami going to Devontae Smith to maybe help out Tua a little bit, which is a lot of people are saying they're going to grab a quarterback. I don't necessarily see them grabbing a quarterback. Why not ride with Tua for another year just to see? Detroit gets Sewell, which is what everyone other than the people in Cincinnati are hoping Cincinnati gets. Washington trades up and grabs Trey Lance. Denver gets Micah Parsons, which I think everyone is.
Yeah, if he's there at 9, I think that's where Denver's going to go.
I was looking at Denver Twitter today. There are not a lot of people happy with Micah Parsons. I don't know if it's an off-the-field thing, but a lot of people are saying they don't want him. Bold move, and then Dallas gets Patrick Surtain, the second, which is they need defense badly. They have the wide receivers.
A corner.
And then they have New England trading up to 11 for Jalen Waddle. Again, they need a quarterback. Right, we have Cam Newton on a one-year deal.
Especially if Justin Fields is there.
In this situation, Justin Fields is there for almost 28 more picks.
He's there at 15, too, so I don't...
He's there 21 picks
it makes no fucking sense.
It's not... Philadelphia, I guess they could take a wide receiver. If that's where Chris Sims was going, that maybe New England traded up to 11 so that Philly at 12 didn't pick Waddle, but... The Chargers aren't going to pick a wide receiver. They have multiple very good wide receivers.
Yeah.
The Vikings...
they might get a tight end. They could
Vikings
potentially trade up for
receiver.
Kyle Pitts. Chargers could potentially trade up for Kyle Pitts. I think that would be a crazy move because they did just lose what's-his-face to the Patriots, Hunter Henry.
Could happen.
So that could be a possibility.
The thing is with mock drafts is that it's really hard to predict who's going to trade up and who isn't.
Trades are ridiculous in mock drafts, so of course we had to throw in one.
We
threw in 2 actually.
Yeah, a few years ago when the Steelers traded up for Devin Bush, that was something that I personally really wanted to happen, but I did not expect it to happen because it wasn't a likely scenario.
In this situation, there's no way the Steelers don't grab Justin Fields
if he's there at 24. You can't pass up on that.
You already know Big Ben is maybe the rest of this year option.
Yeah,
if he even can get past 17 games, plus a possibility of a playoff.
This is for sure his last year, and there's no real backup plan after that because you're not gonna you can try with. I don't know. I don't want.
And you think Tom Brady's going to be okay with them picking Justin Fields with their first pick?
That's also.
You think he's not going to want go defense, or do something to help the team out?
Yeah, no.
Why are we going to sit Justin Fields for 4 more years?
With how much involvement Brady has, I don't think that would.
Chris Sim, just not a good mock draft, not a good one.
Yeah, no.
I guess it got the clicks, and I'm guessing that's
it's
what
an
he wants.
interesting one for sure. I mean that he had the Steelers picking a center, which I don't entirely like. If Najee Harris is gone at 24, I do think that.
Does he even have Harris going in the first round here?
No, he does not.
He does not. Yeah.
Wow.
That's my point of view is that if he's available at 24, that's probably where.
Also,
we're
the
go.
idea that Green Bay is going to grab a wide receiver in the first round to help Rodgers out is absolutely blasphemy.
Yeah.
That's never going to happen. Come on, let's be
just
realistic here, Chris Sims. Insane to think that that's a possibility. I don't know much about Gregory Rousseau except he's nasty in Madden. Whenever you draft him, he's gross. So that's
he's one of the better edge rushers in there. So
yeah.
I don't know if he's gonna fall to 30. That's kind of.
There's a lot of offensive players in this draft. I mean, there are a lot of times where in the top 10, a couple guards go, a couple tackles go. But these are a lot of skill
There's a
players.
lot of offensive linemen in this draft.
Yeah,
which is why that
Sims has a lot of defense going in this one. Like after the top 10, it's mostly defense.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. But in this top 10 is very much an offensive top 10
the top
this
10
year. Not even just saying Chris Sims like he's at fault for that. This year, I think the top 10. Not that it completely belongs to the offense, but it's going to be dominated by the skill players this year. This is a fun draft. I can't fucking wait for it. I'm super excited.
Yeah, I don't know if Russo's going to fall to being as the 4th or 5th edge rusher.
And is Trey Lance really better than Justin Fields? Is this what's coming? I mean,
don't think anybody knows.
Out of nowhere,
it's all
Trey Lance
all
has just
depends
popped
on
up.
how a team evaluates.
Is it because he sort of looks like Patrick Mahomes? Maybe. Like, is that
like the 49ers?
He looks like he could be a deep relative of Patrick Mahomes, so he should be a good quarterback.
Like the 49ers being being rumored to be so interested in, or Shanahan being so interested in Mac Jones is why he's just kind of been slotted in or put in at 3 for most people's mock drafts now. But
Trey Lance is really an option in that situation.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. I've from things that I saw, it doesn't feel like Justin Fields is going to be that person at 3, but it could be between Mac Jones or Trey Lance.
Justin Fields in this let's think about just things that have been done lately. Justin Fields in this past playoffs for the NCAA was phenomenal. I mean, he took a shot on the ribs, probably broke his fucking ribs, if I'm being honest with you. The one he took the helmet right to the... And I mean, he went out there, was in clear pain. I mean, Winston the entire thing.
6 touchdown passes that game.
I know, in clear pain. I think he sat out one play, limped back onto the field, threw a touchdown pass, and then limped back off the...
Yep.
I mean, how is that not something that someone's like, okay, I want that fucking guy? But instead, Trey Lance, who no one has ever fucking heard of.
Well,
I mean, all right.
We knew who
his college doesn't have the exposure
yeah.
that Ohio State has, so a lot less people know his name than Justin Fields. And I don't know, it's just... If you were to tell me last year that Justin Fields... if you were to tell me 2 months ago that Justin Fields and Mac Jones have a possibility of falling out of the top 10, that's fucking insane to me. That's an insane thought. They were both just in the national championship.
Yeah, I mean, a few months ago, Zach Wilson wasn't slotted in at 2, and now almost everyone has him at 2. It's because he got
one
compared to
reporter
Mahomes.
said something, and then...
I mean, I'm assuming he probably did perform very well at whatever pro day and stuff like that they had.
BYU? Who do they play?
I don't know.
Because they're not. They're not a ginormous school.
I've seen Zach Wilson's highlights, school, and he does look very.
Well, that's
good.
what highlights are.
Well, yeah, but in terms of the things that he's physically able to do athletically, he is good. Like in terms of that, but it all has to do with pro day and how they meld
the pro
with
day
the
makes
team.
no sense to me. I mean, how far can this person throw in shorts with no pressure, no pads? I mean. People's lives are changing because of this fucking pro day. Zach Wilson is a number 2 overall pick because he performed well in shorts and a t-shirt in an indoor facility with no wind and no pads and no defensive pressure.
A few months ago, it wasn't. I would say it probably wasn't even certain that he would be in the first round, or he might be a late first round. He wasn't supposed to be within the top 3 at all.
Wild.
Fields for
Wild
a while
what pro
was
days
like
are doing for people.
Fields was like a
BYU.
lock at 2 or 3 for a while. Well, granted, that was before the 49ers traded in for the 3rd pick.
Yeah.
But Fields was like automatically looked at as the number 2, like in terms of like value as a
Especially
quarterback.
at the beginning of last season.
Yeah.
Like you know how Trevor Lawrence has been the number 1 pick for 2 years.
Yeah,
We've known that.
Yeah,
Justin Fields at the end of last year, or at the end of 2 years ago, was going to be the number 2 pick, and it's just pro days. It's fucking insane to me what pro days have done.
Yeah. BYU played 2 ranked teams. One of them being Coastal Carolina, who was undefeated. They were both undefeated going into that game. BYU lost by 5. That was their only loss all season. They were 11-1. I mean, they scored 40 plus in all but 3 games. It looks like.
Zach Wilson's probably a good quarterback.
Yeah.
This isn't against Zach Wilson. I'm not saying that.
Yeah,
I'm just saying
he
the fact that a pro
is,
day that you can go out there and just have catch with the boys, and all of a sudden you're a number 2 fucking pick is wild to me. Pro days are absolutely insane.
You throw on the run and do it no look, and then they're like, "Oh,
with
Patrick
no
Patrick
cornerbacks.
Mahomes does that."
Yeah, but with no cornerbacks or anything to
You
like.
also got to think, going back to the thing that BYU's not, they don't get
the
exposure that Ohio State does.
That's probably why we haven't heard from him.
Probably why we didn't hear from
That
him
is
early
true.
on in the season. And then when he starts doing well and the bigger
games
late come up late in the season, the scouts are like, oh, this dude.
Late in the
actually
season,
looks
his
like
name
he could
did
be.
come up.
Yeah,
I will
right.
say late in the season, his bowl game that he did phenomenal, and that everyone was losing
He
their
had
minds over
425 passing
that.
yards.
But I don't know.
I mean, at the same time, in the draft that Mahomes was in, he wasn't he was one of the top quarterbacks, but he wasn't.
Yeah, he wasn't
looked at as
Mitchell Trubisky. As much as these scouts are like, how could people pass on Patrick Mahomes? You guys all said to get Mitchell Trubisky first. Almost every single mock draft from that year, Patrick Mahomes was not in the top 10.
I just can't believe the Bears did that.
Hindsight is so good to look at. But
of course, Watson's going through his own whole situation right now, so it might have been a good idea.
Chicago might have won this fucking. Might have won in the end. Actually, they don't even have Trubisky anymore. He's on Buffalo now.
They didn't pick Mahomes.
They didn't.
They
Well, what if Mahomes fucking tears his ACL? Life ending. Not life ending. You wouldn't die from an ACL tear.
No.
Career ending. And then the Bears still got rid of Trubisky. So
yeah,
it doesn't fucking matter.
I mean, Mahomes on the Bears would not be as good as Mahomes on the Chiefs because in terms of weapons,
did you see him in the
he
Super
doesn't
Bowl? That's what Mahomes would look like every week if he had a bad team.
Mm-hmm.
Him in the Super Bowl.
He'd be doing crazy shit, but the passes aren't completed because the receivers aren't just didn't perform
Can't
well.
get
I mean, the Bucs defense was ridiculous, but either way, same point.
And it looks like the Chiefs have fixed their O-line completely. Kyle Long is in there. Joe Tooney, I think, is in there.
They traded
Orlando Brown's in there. I mean, definitely cleaned up some. Some spots
they did
that
exactly what you should do when you have as many good people on offense on offense as they have. That you need to continue. You just need to continue going. You can't have a year where you don't have a good offensive line, because then that's another year of Kelsey's career. That's another year of Tyreek Hill's career. That's another year of Mahomes' career. That you want to be able to maximize the value for all of those, because eventually, I mean, Kelsey isn't really young anymore, so it's. I don't know when he's going to retire. I'm not saying he's going to retire anytime soon, but 6 years from now, he's probably not playing just because of how long tight ends usually last, given how everything that they do.
Right, all it takes is like a knee injury, and that knocks off another year or two.
Especially someone that big that they're told you have to tackle him at the knees. I mean, you can't. Yeah. That's what Gronkowski's biggest issue was. There, you couldn't take him down up high because he was running you over. Right. And you had to go for his knee.
I'm not saying it knocks out just the year that you got the injury. Like that probably knocks off another year that you were planning on playing in the future. Correct. Like you might retire a year earlier than you might have.
Definitely. Let's talk about we'll do this one first. The Dolphins and Washington football team. This is definitely a thing? Yep. Okay. So they traded guard Eric Flowers to Washington football deal, and they swap late round picks. Is this the first round pick? Or just late rounds. Got it.
Yeah,
Stupid.
it was like a third or a fourth.
Yeah.
It was a minor trade that happened.
Just a trade that happened. A trade that is in talks.
The Washington football team reinforcing their offensive line.
Good for them.
Good idea.
Or Taylor Heineke or whoever they decide to grab.
Yeah, maybe Trey Lance.
Could be
according
protected,
to
possibly Trey Lance. The Falcons have discussed interest in trading Julio Jones. They said they weren't going to earlier in the offseason, and I think they looked at their cap space and said,
Maybe.
yikes, we might actually need to free some shit up here. No way they can get rid of Matt Ryan. His contract is just way too much. They're stuck with him for 3 years, whether they like it or not. That's why I don't think they're going to get a quarterback here, like everyone says they're going to. There's no reason to. You're stuck with Ryan anyway, so keep him. Julio Jones, on the other hand, has a smaller contract.
I am because I don't think that the return for Julio Jones is going to be like that crazy.
I think it's going to be like the Randy Moss trade to New England, which was like a 4th-round pick.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, I think it might be like a 2nd and 4th for Julio Jones.
That's what I was saying.
And the Ravens would love to jump on something like that.
Absolutely not.
I mean, that's what they need. They need a wide receiver.
Don't even put that idea.
And Julio Jones is like, I think it's non-arguable that Julio Jones is probably the best wide receiver we have in the league. When people talk about, even when Devontae Adams says that he's the best, everyone excludes Julio Jones. Like, it's kind of like us talking about the draft, like who's the best quarterback, and they say it's
we're not even
Zach
talking
Wilson.
about
we're not talking about Trevor Lawrence.
So
when
he's been the number 1 pick for a very long time.
When people say who's the best wide receiver, everyone goes, well, excluding Julio, then it's Devontae Adams, or excluding Julio. And when you're in that situation, you probably have some leverage. But they want to get rid of his contract, I assume. They could probably get something big, but I think the leverage on the other side is that you guys are going to dump him.
Julio probably will have a choice to where he wants to go.
Assumingly so. I mean,
but with all the with all the wide receivers that passed on going to the Ravens in the offseason, why would Julio Jones want to go to a team that's a run heavy offense?
But what if he doesn't get a say? What if Atlanta says?
I mean, there was an interview with their GM a few days ago, like when they were talking about this, when he officially said we are answering calls. That they're like they have to do what's the best for him and what's the best for the team. So I don't think. I mean,
what is he supposed
not that
to
going
say?
to the Ravens is the worst thing in the world because they are a good football team. Lamar Jackson is good, and having someone like Julio Jones on that offense does make their offense a lot better in terms of the passing game. But
this seems like he's going to end up
in
Tampa or Kansas City, right? Like, is that that's what it seems like?
Don't even.
It seems like it's going.
Imagine that.
So. I would be so. Brady had wanted Julio Jones in New England every single time Julio Jones' name had come up in talks.
Can you, as far as cap space goes, I don't know if they. I think they can.
I don't know how they're doing it now. I don't know how Kansas City has money now.
$100 million on their fucking top 2 players.
Well, you just give them a contract that we pay 80 years down the line.
We'll pay you in 2099.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
When you're
I don't know how these contracts work, but they're figuring it out.
Yeah.
I mean, Brady has wanted Julio Jones on his team forever. He's talked about it numerous times how highly he thinks of Julio Jones. Mm-hmm. It's been Bill Belichick's priority.
A lot of quarterbacks would like to have Julio Jones on their team.
I agree, but I mean, if he goes to Tampa, that's real tough. And they decide not to sign Antonio Brown instead. They just get Julio Jones. It's tough. It's tough. That'd be wild. And I think he would agree to that.
Julio Jones. He probably would. I would assume.
But that's a wild trade that can happen. We'll
if the Bucks trade their 32nd pick of the first round.
I mean, yeah, because I feel like this might be one of those trades, like he was saying, that won't be much. Like, I think they're trying to dump him for cap space, and I don't think they'll cut him ever. But they'll get that Randy Moss-esque trade.
No, you got to get
I think it was 2010.
Some sort of value for it.
Patriots traded like a 4th-round pick for Randy Moss. When was it?
No.
What year was it? I don't remember the year.
The undefeated season?
Uh-huh.
It was 2007, so
it
did
not be 2010.
2010.
Correct. Oh, what year? It must have been in 2007 he traded for.
In 2006, whatever.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's interesting to see. But I think you're right in that the trade won't be as big as people think he will. Could easily go to fucking Lamar and the Ravens.
I mean, it makes sense. I would prefer if that did not happen, personally.
Do the Steelers have enough... what is the word? Like, appeal to Julio Jones to want to go there?
Probably.
They don't have a quarterback.
Cap space either.
We
don't really have cap space.
The money to pay him unless take minimum wage.
Yeah, no, we just
12 bucks
We will-
an
we
hour.
will-
no. I don't think that would be a thing unless the trade happens after the draft, which, I mean, it could. It
He
probably
gets traded on draft night. On night 1 of draft night, he gets traded.
could.
That
be.
would be the talk. It wouldn't be
Yeah.
anybody getting traded or anyone getting drafted. It would be holy shit, Julio Jones on a new team.
Yeah,
Fucking insane.
but
And then everyone watches that to see who they get. Because if you're like, let's say you're Denver, right,
Mhm.
and you get Julio Jones before the trade, and you don't trade out your number 9, are you sticking with Drew Lock? If you get
No,
Julio
you pick-
Jones
you
added,
pick
you're getting Trey Lance
Trey Lance or
or
Justin
whoever
Fields,
is
whoever's
available.
there.
I mean,
You have
it's gonna
to
be
at that
wild.
point.
It's gonna be wild. The NFL world could look completely different in the next couple days, and I can't wait. We'll come back to the NFL later when we do our mock draft, but let's move on to the NBA. Steph Curry has not left this show in forever. We are talking
every
about him
single week.
every
Yeah.
single fucking week now. He is
80
phenomenal.
85 threes in the month of April so far. I think they play again tonight, and it's the 27th, so I imagine there's another game or two left in the month before it's over. He passed James Harden, who I think had 82 was the record for most in a month. But yeah, he's just hell of a month for Steph Curry.
Most made threes in any month in NBA history.
And he's
It's
still
still going.
I'm gonna check the Warriors schedule because I'm pretty sure they're playing tonight, and they gotta have at least one more game over the next 4 days.
How many did you say he had?
85. It's a lot.
This man's gonna have over 100
That's a
threes
lot.
in
If
one
he has
month.
100 threes by the end of the month.
He very well could.
If they play 2 games,
He could do that tonight. Wait, 85 now. He can't.
The
do it
record
tonight.
in one game is 14.
Yeah, no, wouldn't be. Able
He'd
to
have
do
to
tonight.
break that
Yeah,
record.
he'd
have to
break that
100.
record.
Which, who fucking knows? It's Steph Curry. He might.
That's so wild.
That is true.
He's
Um,
so good.
So they play tonight and then Thursday. So they have 2
Yes.
games left.
It's very possible.
Oh, he can
I'm
do it.
I'm
15?
rooting for it. 15 and 2.
He could do it.
Yeah,
That's easy.
he
That's
could do
easy.
it. He
One
could
of
do it
these
for
has
you
to
need
be a
8
big
in
one.
one and 7 in the other.
One of
And he
these has
had-
to, like, if he gets like 10 tonight, then
Then
he's
it's-
in.
that's it.
It's
That's
locked.
it. Yeah.
It's
Play
locked.
the Mavs tonight, and I think the Timberwolves.
They also took him
on
out with like
Thursday.
3 minutes or like 3 minutes yesterday, and he like wanted to go back in, or I think it was 2 days ago, and he wanted to go back in and break some sort of record, and Steve Kerr walked up to him and was like, "All right, so
No, that was
Sit
a
down.
couple weeks ago, but yeah, he had a shit ton of points by the third quarter,
he
and
could."
they were up by a lot. You don't want to risk Steph Curry.
It's
Yeah, you're
wild
like,
to
nah,
see how
you're
good
like-
this man is.
Records are great, but you also
Have been hurt in the
if,
past.
if he gets hurt in that fourth quarter, their playoff chances are done. They're done.
Correct.
They're out
Unnecessary injury doesn't need to happen. Still, Steph Curry, very entertaining to watch once again.
Correct.
Fucking incredible. Another entertaining team. Their streak is over.
There are
The
2
Knicks.
teams that streaks are over. The Knicks had a 9-game win streak going, and the Wizards had an 8-game streak going. The Wizards streak was the longest win streak they had since 2001, back when Michael Jordan was on the team.
Wow.
Russell Westbrook just broke Wilt Chamberlain. Yeah, was it Wilt Chamberlain's record? I think it was Wilt Chamberlain's record for most triple doubles in a single month. He's been on fire lately. He's fucking crazy. But they lost to the Spurs by 3. Really high scoring game. DeMar DeRozan and DeJounte Murray combined for 62 points, and they got the win. And then the Suns beat the New York Knicks. No 10-game winning streak for the Knicks. They've been on fire lately, but Chris Paul,
What a fucking shot. That last shot he
Yeah,
hit. I
that
mean,
was-
he was not happy.
insane.
It seemed he was very angry with the Knicks for some reason. Did
I
you
don't-
see him mouthing just what
Jesus.
words that Kyrie would not appreciate?
Correct.
Words
Kyrie
that
does
Kyrie
not
would be
appreciate
very
those
sad.
words.
Yeah, I mean, come on, Chris Paul, do better.
So yeah, Chris Paul had, 20 points isn't a lot, but he shot, 66%, 8 for 12, 2 from 3. And Devin Booker, 33 points. He always having a good night. But yeah, win streak's coming to an end, but I doubt this is the end of the Knicks. Knicks are probably just going to start another one. They've been
Very good.
They've been very good lately, and the Suns are the second best team in the NBA right now.
Stephen A.
So
said
that's a tough.
Stephen A. said if the Spurs, if the Nets don't win the championship, then
Kyrie and KD
Kyrie
are
and
gonna
KD
regret
should
not
be
becoming
very-
a New York Knick.
they were both offered
Yeah.
New York Knicks contracts.
Mhm.
would be wild. I can't imagine how they'd be right now because you got to think Harden would also already come into that. I mean, they'd probably just be the Nets what they are now that I'm thinking about it. A lot of those people came in after, the starters at least.
I mean,
Harden would definitely show up.
I don't know.
He would definitely go the same way because he didn't want to be in Houston anyway.
Well, yeah,
he went to Brooklyn to be with the super team.
Yeah, he probably would have went there anyways.
Possibly, yeah.
It's a short drive down the road, you know.
Well,
it's not.
You also got to think Harden wasn't the only piece in that trade. The Nets had certain pieces to go along with that, and there are other teams involved.
I'm sure the Knicks would have figured it out.
I mean, maybe it's the Knicks, so who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, going into it, Brooklyn looked so much better than the Knicks.
Oh yeah.
Going into it, no one expected the Knicks to play as well as they have been to be the 4 seed right now. No one expected Julius Randle to blow up and fucking have an MVP caliber type season. But yeah, we'll see a lot more of the Knicks, and Wizards are now in the play-in tournament, so we might see more of them as well. So we'll see how that goes. The Celtics, they've lost their last 2. They've been not too great. We got shit on by the Hornets on Sunday.
Yeah.
Was not a good game. We play the Thunder tonight, and the Thunder, they're like a game or 2 from being eliminated from the playoffs. So if we lose this one, I'm not going to be happy. It would be very unfortunate.
Would be quite unfortunate. I'm looking at my thing here because I just got
what thing?
Some just Instagram. I got sent a thing that is fucking hilarious. Not a funny situation, but it's up there. EDP 445.
Yep.
An investigation has been launched on him. We knew that already. Of course, I mean we talked about it a couple weeks ago. He's a pedophile. The account that caught him being a pedophile and EDP's profile have both been taken away by YouTube. YouTube took away both of the channels.
Probably a good idea.
Because the other dude, Chet Goldstein, I think it was, is also a gigantic D-bag.
Yeah,
he was on live the other day and was just being a dick on YouTube. I saw a little bit of it. But yeah, that's just fucking hysterical.
That dude has a lot of...
It's great.
A lot
they
of
both
things
got taken off.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
The irony is there, but at least they're both not on YouTube anymore.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Celtics are down 24-21 in the first quarter. We don't have Tatum, Kemba, or Williams.
Good.
Williams is still out.
So that's going to look like a loss, probably, if I had to guess.
Moving
on to some baseball stuff.
There's a decent amount of baseball this week.
Big Manfred news.
I did see
Big
that.
Rob Manfred news. I mean,
it's very different from everything else.
I know, that's what I'm saying. What a move by the commissioner. He said sports betting is a massive opportunity for fan engagement, and I think this is big. So he was talking to Adam Silver, commissioner of the NBA, and I think these conversations were probably happening around the time they had like the sports task force about a year ago when they were all talking about how to reopen and stuff, and so a lot of the commissioners got together then and started talking. They had Vince McMahon, Dana White, Rob Manfred, Roger Goodell, Donald Trump. I mean, it was a task force. I mean, it was a lot of billionaires, a lot of billionaires in that room. But I guess he was talking to Adam Silver, and Adam Silver told him to stop talking about the pace of game, which is something that Rob Manfred had been very adamant on the past couple of years, installing dumb pitch like timers. There's a walk-up timer they have now.
It was, I can't remember what the first year they did it. There literally used to be a timer that, like, you could see it, like it was in the outfield, in between pitches. Like, you had
like
to
a shot
be.
Clock.
Yeah, it was a pitch timer. They have the walk-up timer that's there now in the outfields.
All of that stuff is a lot more lax now. I don't see them actually caring about it.
Also, the
as
walk-up
much.
timer is like 35 seconds.
Yeah.
It's not going to take
It's
someone 35 seconds to walk
things
up.
like limiting the amount of mound visits and stuff like that you had. That's a good idea because, as you saw in like the post, I think it was like 26th. I think it was the Cubs World Series one. Jesus fucking Christ! There was literally a mound visit, like. There was literally an inning that there was like 2 or 3 different mound visits.
Yeah.
That half inning literally took like 35.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean
it
that's
was
gonna
absolutely
happen,
insane.
especially in an important playoff game like
Yeah.
that. But so he was talking a lot about pace of the game. That's been his big thing as the commissioner is to speed up the pace of the game. Adam Silver told him not to worry about that because baseball is the perfect pace for sports betting, which makes so much fucking sense.
It is. It for sure is.
I mean, and with what they're doing with sports betting now, like Arizona just legalized in stadium sports betting, so you will have a what is it called? Kind of like they have at the Kentucky Derby, where you can just a vendor. I think it's probably called, right? Something like that. You can walk up in between quarters or in between drives and be like, I think this is going to happen on this drive, and bet for that. I mean, this is perfect for baseball. While you're doing.
Especially this
during
year,
a change of pitcher, you see this dude warming up on the bullpen. You know he's throwing heat, but he's a little off. You're like, this dude's gonna walk the first batter easily. You see him get put in the game while he's warming up. You walk up to the fucking vendor, put 100 on him walking at least one batter that inning. Great move by Rob Manfred here.
Yeah,
Fucking
I
awesome.
agree. It's especially with how exciting like a lot of the games have been. Like the Dodgers-Padres series literally feels like I'm watching a playoff series.
Correct.
Like, it feels like it's October when you're watching them play, which is wild because like the Padres are in third place. Like they haven't even been playing that well, but when they play, like them playing against the Dodgers, it's like a whole fucking different
it's
thing.
perfect. You got anything on this?
Speaking of like rule changes, I saw something about the Pioneer League. Instead of instead of extra
did you
innings,
put this
they're
in
doing
there or no?
A home
No.
run derby.
Did you know about
Flying
this?
here.
You
No.
didn't know about it? So there's a Pioneer League. I think is it part of the do you know if I don't know if is it called a Pioneer League or is the league the Pioneer League?
The Pioneer League.
Okay.
I don't know.
So they're doing instead of extra innings, they're doing a like
Home run
shootout
derby.
but with home run derby. It's a home run derby.
Sudden death home run derby.
That
instead
would
of
be
extra
wild.
innings.
Fucking wild. I don't think it would work in the Major
Nah.
League Baseball, but I love it. I mean, I love the idea of it. You know what I mean? Like kind of like the XFL installing new rules into their football. I get it. Totally in for it. I will definitely check out a sudden death when it happens online or something. I will look it up. But
Yeah.
that looks fucking awesome. But yeah, big moves by Rob Manfred here. For the first time, he's not too much of
I
a
did
stooge.
one thing before we start talking about what we're going to talk about. I mean, it's all baseball related, but what's it called? Did you guys see that Madison Bumgarner threw a no-hitter through the 7 innings, so it didn't count?
Yeah.
That
mhm.
is
And,
so
I mean,
unfortunate.
So this is my opinion on it.
Yeah, because I saw a lot of people having different opinions. on it.
Because it is 7 innings, it should not be a no-hitter.
Correct.
Right.
I think I agree.
But at the same time, why you like that? That's putting the fault on Bumgarner because they just
Yeah.
decided to make doubleheaders only 7 innings. So, because if you pitch a complete game, it counts as a complete game. But if you pitch a no hitter, it doesn't count as
So
a
okay,
no-hitter.
if you're gonna have the dumb 7-inning rule, you have to get what comes with it, and you have to give that
Yeah,
a no hitter. I mean, as much as it
But-
sucks,
yeah.
just don't have the stupid rule
That's
then.
why they're not. That's why they're not counting it because it's. I mean, obviously, like it would be pitching 2 more innings and a walk can happen. That isn't to say that Bumgarner, if it's in a regular game, that he doesn't finish off those 2 innings and do it. But you can't. I mean, you can't count it when it's only
just
7 innings.
put it in the rule books, but put a fucking asterisk, but done in 7 innings.
What did you just say?
Not asterisks.
Asterisk.
I thought it was asterisk. I don't know. Who the fuck knows? But
Clearly
just
not
put
you.
that. Just put that in there, the little
Yeah.
sign, and put done in 7.
Yeah.
There it is. Fucking problem.
Yeah, no,
solved.
it's tough. That's what I think that like this issue might make them reconsider having doubleheaders be. I mean, I don't know because doubleheaders when they're 9 innings they do
They're
do
long.
take a long time. But if you're gonna make it so that the pitcher literally cannot get a no hitter
Yeah.
even if they pitch even if they don't give up a hit the entire time.
Separate stat. It'd be like 7
7-inning no hitters. Yeah, sure. Why not? There you go.
I mean, if
It's
they're going
like-
to keep the 7-inning doubleheader rule, I mean, it's bound to happen.
Why
again
are
eventually.
we coming up with this? Why are us 3 fucking solving this problem?
Because
And the billionaires
Because,
can't
yeah,
fucking
because
think of it.
baseball
There's
is
a
just,
lot of
it's
people
all
with-
for a piece of metal, Josh.
Yeah.
They don't care.
There's
Yeah,
a
It's
lot.
just a
Did
piece of
forget
metal
about
that they're
that.
fighting for.
Yeah.
I forgot about
there's
that.
there's a lot of people with differing opinions on it, but
Back to baseball gambling.
Yep.
I think this is Vegas odds. If I'm not sure, they have the Yankees still the favorites to win the AL East, and I think that's only
Yeah,
because of their name value.
yeah, I wouldn't expect that to change yet.
I think they're the
It
second
is.
worst
I do find
record
it
in
surprising.
all of baseball.
and they
right?
Yeah,
have
no.
the best odds to win any AL division.
Yep.
I mean, the White Sox are minus 110, the Yankees are minus 120, and the Athletics are plus 140.
Yep.
Like, what?
It is.
The Yankees
it
are the
is-
favorites to
I
win
do-
the entire AL?
I do.
Fuck out of here with that. That is because of their name and nothing else.
I do find it sort of surprising that the Rays have the 4th best odds. Like, I get it, they haven't been playing well, but at the same token, you could it would be that it's still fucking April. It's still really early in the season. They have talented people on their roster. They can't turn it around.
I think that's what. Yeah, I think that's
the
why
Yankees would do the
so
same
high.
thing. But the fact that they're like, the Rays haven't been playing well. I mean, they did, obviously they lost people in their rotation, and they lost people, and they've been dealing with a lot of injuries. That has happened, but the Rays are still a team that can. I don't know if they'll win the division, but they could. I mean,
this is usually how.
Let's say the Yankees don't figure it out.
Well,
I don't think the Yankees are gonna even if let's say I think worst case scenario for the Yankees is they're probably like an 80 win team.
Oh, you don't even think wild. Well,
I'm saying worst case.
Oh, okay.
That's
Jesus.
with guys like Kluber getting hurt this year, them actually having a problem, and those guys not figuring it out. Like Judge Stanton finishing the year hitting 200, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
That not getting better. They're still a team that should win 80 games with struggles like that. And best case, I don't think that they have the people to win 100 games, because even in 2019 they started off slow. They still won 100 games, but the rotation just is not. I mean, we talk about it a little bit later in terms of the stats of the rotation. After Garrett Cole, it's a bunch of number 5 starters. They just haven't been.
And what's wild is what you're saying about the Rays is how, because they're at plus 600 to win the division, and these are the way betting works for these, because these are long-term bets or future bets. So, situational right now, Rays at plus 600 makes sense. You're going to make money if they win the AL East. It makes sense that they're not the favorites, because it's live what's happening right now, but then that still doesn't make sense for the fucking Yankees being favorites. That still than their name. It has to be their fucking name.
It's because they're the Yankees.
That's ridiculous. Why. I hate
that's. I mean,
so if you bet against them, you bet that they don't win the AL East, you could probably make some money.
Yeah,
this is easy money.
Correct. Just bet that the Yankees are probably not going to win the AL East.
Yeah, well, they're on minus 120 to win it. Probably make a quick buck. Yeah.
You could.
Mike Trout is back, I think. Is he back?
Yes,
he is back.
He is absolutely
the day
fucking
after
insane.
the week ended that I was facing Luke, he missed 3 and more than half. Basically 4 games. He had 1 at bat where he got hit. But I mean, he's playing phenomenally this season.
Way.
Are you good?
Are you good? Bobby fucking Delbick just hit his first home run.
Oh my! I can't believe it. That's why. And the same day I hit it on MLB The Show too.
Fucking took him how many games?
I mean, it's about fucking time.
Let's see.
Bobby D.
It's about fucking time.
It took him.
What is the score?
Yeah, it's tied 1-1 now.
Game 25 of the season.
I mean, wow. You expect me to change my opinion about him?
No, I just want to let you know, because you guys were
it's
talking
big.
about how it was.
It's big.
Forever.
That is big. Big news.
Back to actual good baseball players.
Yeah, Mike Trout.
Come on now.
Mike Trout.
Can you imagine if the league advertised Mike Trout in a couple years ago like they do Tatis now? Can you imagine?
He doesn't have the. His personality isn't the same.
But they still didn't. They still could have threw him in a fucking Walmart commercial or something.
Yeah.
I mean, he was the best baseball player at the time.
Yeah.
And with what they're doing with Tatis now, I mean, he's on everything. He's everywhere. He's on every MLB program. Anything. I mean, they just never really used Trout the way that they should have.
I mean, he's been playing since 2010, 2011. They totally could have.
Yeah.
Because I mean, he's been for almost
been
every year in his
MVP
career.
Conversation literally every year.
Yeah.
So actually, every single year.
So, yeah, no, it's wild that they don't market him better, but
it's late now. I mean, they have a new face,
and
we're going to talk about that new face.
So far this season, he's batting .426 with a .539 on base percentage, which is insane.
Quite good.
.820 sluggage, or slugging? Is it slug?
Yeah,
it's one of the two.
The slugging percentage, yeah.
1.8 WAR.
He first in all of those.
Yeah, first in the MLB in all 4 of those categories.
Yeah, he's absolutely fucking insane.
Yeah,
he's
great.
He's getting
and the fact
better
that
than he already was.
He's on the same team as Ohtani, who's also
I mean that Angels team
Ohtani
is great.
Is tied for the league lead in home runs and also has the highest strikeout rate per 9 out of starting pitchers.
Insane.
come on, like
Must
that's
be
just,
nice to be a two-way player. Like, it
well,
must be
yeah,
real
this is like
fucking nice.
the first year where he's like truly doing it. Like,
Could this potentially
like,
be
he
the
hit-
future of the
he
MLB?
hit while they.
Could players be, could coaches be
It was
looking more?
It was an
for
American.
this?
Like it was. They forfeited their DH yesterday so that he could hit
They've done it a
while he
couple
was
times
pitching.
now. They
Like
did
it was.
like 2 weeks ago too, I think, for him.
No, that he was playing, and then the day before that, he was playing left field.
Yeah, I saw him play.
He's
It was
like-
his first time, I think, playing a position in this season. They said, but I mean, he's great. He's good for baseball. Is this something that maybe owners are going to look for now more? That I mean,
It's hard to find.
It's very hard to find.
Because Ohtani was doing it in Japan, and that's why he was like.
Yeah.
That's why a few years ago he was
In
so-
Japan, they do hitters or pitchers hit all the time. Is that a?
I don't
is that a
know.
fact?
I mean, it vary. I don't know if it varies by because there's multiple leagues, so
Yeah.
I don't know if it between. I mean, possibly.
There was one that was massive last year.
It was a dude that could hit a ball 450 feet, but can also throw it 99. So that's
which
why
is what you want in a ball player.
the
for
Angels
sure,
were
I
like,
assume.
let's-
I mean,
let's get that.
good. Let's talk about the face of baseball now. Tatis Jr. had a hell of a week. 5 home runs in the last 3 games. 2 of them coming off of Trevor Bauer, who's arguably one of the best pitchers in the game.
The
2
other
of
one-
them coming off of Kershaw.
Yeah, he
Also,
two
yeah,
off
2 off
Kershaw.
Kershaw, who
in
I mean,
consecutive
is-
days.
yeah.
He hit 2 home runs off of 2 former Cy Young winners.
fucking incredible. I mean, in the Twitter thing that had gone on after it, everyone expected Bauer to be, I don't know, so Bauer, I think 2 weeks ago, struck someone out and then closed his eye, right?
It
As
was
like a
at
taunt.
spring training.
Oh, it was deep ago. Okay, so he
Yeah, it was
closed
wild,
his eye.
From what I saw,
And then Tatis hit this fucking home run on him and then turned around while running the bases and covered his eye.
Yeah.
And then did the McGregor walk for his second home run as he crossed the plate. And Bauer loved it. Bauer said that's good. We need that. And he's right. That the game does need that. He called pitchers who like bean people after that soft. And I think it's right.
Yeah,
the same
this
way Bauer-
interaction is exactly what baseball
baseball
needs.
needs. The same way
That's-
Bauer is going to taunt someone when he strikes someone out.
Yeah.
You have to expect it back when you get it. I mean, he did I think it was Eric Hosmer. He did it like he struck him out and then put like a sword in his fucking pocket, like the sword thing. And then Hosmer got a single, and the next he went and put the sword. And I mean, Bauer was like, that was funny, that was great. And I think it's facts. That's what you need. You need the trash talking without the fighting. I mean, fighting is great for baseball.
Yeah. Did you guys?
Alright, it
did
is,
you
but
guys
this is
see
better.
the what's it called on one of the home runs that Tatis hit off Bauer? That Tatis was like literally looked like peeked at
Oh,
the
yeah, the
sign
sign.
and
Yeah.
right before,
And
then
Dave Roberts was
then
not happy.
then there was the whole Dave Roberts quote on that was wild because he was like it's noted, and then the person asking him the question was like, by noted do you mean like you're gonna try to like do things to prevent that from like have like your catcher
Yeah.
like hide the. I mean,
Go
you're
more
literally
under
fucking
than
taught to
fucking-
do that, so I don't know why major league catchers don't do that.
Well, I mean,
Anyways, you're supposed to. You're supposed to hide that. Like that's what you're supposed to just hide the fucking sign. Like,
Yeah.
if you do
Yeah,
it,
no, he kind of just had it out. Like,
yeah,
you're supposed to put it more under. and
it's
fucking-
because for the longest time that was just something that because it's not in the rule book that you can't.
Well, if
do
there's
it.
one
It's
thing
just-
Tatis has taught us, that he doesn't give a fuck about
Yeah.
your unwritten rules.
Yeah,
all right.
that is true, but it was wild. But like with the Dave Roberts, they were like asking like noted as in making the adjustments, and he's like, no, that's not what I meant. Like it's noted that like as in like the next time they face, he's probably gonna get hit.
Yeah, which is wild. Which is fucking wild. I mean, this is everything Bauer just said shouldn't fucking happen.
Yep.
And I don't know. I mean,
It probably won't be done by Bauer.
fucking
but
wild. Yeah, fucking wild. But like I said, Trevor Bauer said that he's all for it when it comes to Tatis celebrating his homers. He said he thinks it's important for the game to move towards these things as opposed to hitting people, and I think everyone agrees.
yeah, it's
Personalities are important for sports, especially one like baseball, which it does drag at times because of how how the pace is built. I mean, it's not against baseball; people like that, but it definitely drags. But that's on purpose of the sport, and I think big personalities will help that, like Tatis and Trevor Bauer. Jacob deGrom definitely helping out the sport, and
he's
hurting
fucking insane.
hitters' averages quite bad.
Yeah,
He is striking. He has 14 strikeouts. Or this was what
this
think
is
this-
after his last start because he starts
after we recorded, right? I think.
yeah, so he had 15 strikeouts that last game, but he had at least 14 in his last 3, which is insane. He's the third pitcher to do that, joining Garrett Cole from 2019 and Pedro Martinez back in 99.
Pretty good company.
Nobody has done it in 4 straight.
And he
tonight-
pitches against the Red Sox tomorrow.
No, tomorrow. Okay.
Ooh,
Okay.
So
that's not what you want.
there's a chance that he does it again.
Right now,
to be
the
honest,
Sox
we
are
have
tied with the Mets 1-1 in the third.
we have a lot of players that strike out. So
It's happening.
it
JD does like to go at.
I mean,
things
more
and go
toward.
a couple
I mean,
times.
yeah, but I was talking more like the bottom of the order, like
Dalbeck.
yeah, that one, him being one of them. That there's a good chance. There's no fucking way that he's going to be able to hit him. But like also like
Dalbeck's going 0-4 tomorrow.
That's a possibility.
A probability.
what do you if he hits a home run off DeGrom, is that gonna do it?
I
for
mean,
you?
what is the situation here? Is it a throwaway first inning, or it wouldn't be the first, have to be third or something, or is it situational like bottom 9? When this dude starts doing something for me that impacts the fucking game in any way, like if we win 2-1,
I mean, he
I
did.
like him a little more.
Garrett Richards did give up a solo home run, and then Dalbeck did just hit a solo home run to tie it up.
Yeah.
One,
Why do we still have Garrett Richards?
one
on the fucking
home
team?
run in 25 games is not going to change my mind about Dalbeck. If
Yeah,
he,
and I
if
mean,
he
it was-
it's
if he
gonna-
homers
yeah.
off of DeGrom, which is very unlikely, it's probably not going to happen. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I doubt it as well.
then
But
I'll start to flip.
I'm just
Well, we'll
just
see.
give him a couple months. Like just wait.
A couple
It's-
months.
It's
though.
April. The season is long. Like yes, a couple months. There's players that don't heat up till like June.
This is a professional sport, Luke.
Yeah, I know.
We can't
I know
sit
it is.
around for
Players
a couple
have
months while
slumps.
people are just bums for the
Players
entire
have
thing.
slumps. JD hit
Anyway.
200 last year.
Well,
Like
those
Yeah, but
players
that's
have.
JD, he has
2020.
a little bit more leverage than fucking
Well, I'm
second
I'm
year
just saying
Bobby
players
Jones.
JD
have
also
slumps.
wasn't allowed to do his whole procedure that he did after at bats. He wasn't able to watch.
I mean,
his
you're right.
at-bats, and he wasn't able to learn from his mistakes and like,
I agree.
I should,
Not
I gotta
that-
fix that.
Yeah.
I fully agree. I'm fully
It
on
was
that train as
2020.
well.
It was an
Yeah.
Mickey Mouse season. I
But
don't know
I'm
what
just
you want.
I'm just saying players have
Uh,
players struggle.
This
It-
is
it
new. I think
happens.
the Yankees have made a trade. Mike, I don't know.
Yeah, they
Mike
traded Mike
Tauchman.
Talkman. He was, I mean, right now he's like their 4th or 5th outfielder, but in 2019,
Wandy Peralta.
yeah, also some random
I
reliever.
don't know any of these people.
Good.
I saw like I saw like a reporter talking about it, and they're like, yeah, no, Wandy Peralta like, could be in their bullpen, but like they could also just opt like he has minor league options. They could send him down just to call someone else up. But I'm like, then why would you just? What's the? I mean,
Yeah.
I guess you get a reliever out of it rather than just releasing Talkman.
We talked about it, and let's go out. The Yankees pitching is absolutely atrocious. You have Garrett Cole, who is the only pitcher with
I mean, Garrett Cole has
an
been
ERA
amazing.
under 2.
Yeah, Garrett Cole has been
Only
very
pitcher
good.
with an ERA under 4.5.
Yeah, I guess you're right about that. I probably should have went with that way.
Yeah.
They are bad.
They haven't. There's
Corey Kluber has not panned out.
Yeah,
at
Corey
fucking all.
Kluber has had multiple starts where he hasn't been very good. Domingo Germán has had multiple starts where he hasn't been very good. Montgomery had a start or two that he was decent, but his last couple of starts have not been good. And then Jamison Tyone, he's still coming. Like it feels like every time he pitches now, it's like a rehab start. Like I mean, he's
Yeah.
coming back from getting Tommy John surgery, so like it is kind of that, but. That stuff you normally do in the minors.
What is
you-
the
you-
FIP stat?
It's I don't fucking know how it's calculated. It's something. I mean, obviously lower is better. I think it counts in with fielding or something. Don't quote me on that.
We're gonna try to get through these next couple of baseball things because I am hungry.
So-
Eduardo Rodriguez had a hell of a game.
Yeah, I put this in there. So you know what's wild? So since the beginning of 2018, he's made 61 starts, and the Red Sox are 49-12 in those starts.
That's very good.
That's pretty.
That is
damn
wild.
good.
I mean, he didn't pitch
I
it
never
all
even
in.
thought
He
about
didn't
him
pitch
being
it all
that
in
good.
2020.
He was in the middle of a health crisis. Yes.
Yes. So I'm not saying that it was.
Yeah.
It wasn't his fault that he like it was unfortunate,
Correct.
but he didn't pitch it all in 2020. So that goes. But he-
49-12 is
Yeah. No, that's
I
that
mean, no
is
matter
very
what way
good.
you spin it,
That
that's
is very
really
good.
good.
So you love to see it. I mean, he had a really good start on Sunday. We'll go over the.
Speaking of which,
Oh,
could
we
have
got
been.
finessed by
I
the
mean,
weather.
we got
We got
bamboozled
absolutely bamboozled.
by New England weather.
by
Again.
once again. I mean, we checked the
Once again.
weather Friday night because we were going
What's
to go to the
the
Sunday
Stephen
game.
A meme?
We've been hoodwinked,
Bamboozled, led astray, run amok.
and straight out lied to. Yeah, we checked the weather for Sunday, and we were like,
Damn, it's
Damn,
90%
it's
chance
supposed
of
to.
rain all day.
this
Yeah.
game's
Awesome.
not happening. It's
Correct.
not happening. There's no
Yeah.
way it's
And
happening.
then we got to Sunday, and it just
Beautiful.
Didn't
Absolutely.
rain at all.
Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah,
day
no,
out.
the rain literally stopped like 12:30.
And the Red
then
Sox had a hell of a game, scoring 4 in the first.
Yeah. Saturday's game was not
Saturday's game was not good.
was
8
not
to
good.
2.
We
Yeah,
lost.
Saturday's game was
Eovaldi just did not look that good. I mean, he ended up being able to pitch 5 innings, but he got 4 runs in the first 2 innings, so it automatically put us down. I mean, we really couldn't hit either. We scored 2 runs, but one of them was in the bottom of the 9th. But fucking Josh Taylor, man,
Yeah.
I fucking hate
He's
Josh
got a
Taylor.
9.72 ERA. Jesus.
Not good.
I don't know if he's hasn't given up a run when he's been in. Like, I feel like every single time he goes out there,
Possible.
he gives up at least one. He always comes in when we're down, but then he just adds another 2.
Yeah.
Oh, look
Or
at
one.
Bobby Dalbeck 0 for 3 with a strikeout in that.
That Sunday game, we won 5-3. Like I said, we scored 4 in the first, and I mean, the Mariners just could not.
What do you know? Bobby Dalbeck 0 for 3 in that game too. I mean,
The Mariners could not find the strike zone to save their fucking life in that first inning.
Yeah, their starting pitcher did struggle. It is I mean, we won. It was a little weird that we scored all of our runs in the first 2 innings, and then that was it. But it didn't matter. Eduardo Rodriguez had
Again.
another insane start. He's been very good. He pitched 7 innings. He didn't have a walk in those. I feel like that's like the first time that's happened.
That's a good
We
stat for
haven't-
sure. Good stat.
I feel like every single starting pitcher we have walks at least like 3 or 4 people every game.
Yeah.
He had no walks, 8 strikeouts, gave up the 3 runs, but it was over 7. It was a good win. And then we had the day off yesterday, and then right now we're
Playing
facing
the
the Mets, and it's
Eduardo
1-1.
4-0 to start the season.
He
Pretty
does
good.
lead the MLB in wins.
Pretty
He's
good
the only
to
one
see
with
it.
4 wins.
Pretty
Not
good.
much has changed in the standings, I don't think. I know the Mets are now technically in first of their NL East.
And Milwaukee's still in first place. You know what's wild? The Giants have the same record as
Yeah.
the Dodgers now.
Yeah, we talked about that.
The
I
Giants-
haven't
earlier.
heard anything about the Giants either. They're just
Their pitching just has been
Very good.
fairly
Yeah.
good. And then, I mean, their offense, they just as a team have been playing really well. But that was definitely one of those teams that when you think of the NL West, they're not one of the teams that you think
Yeah,
of
no.
because you're like, oh, the Dodgers and the Padres.
It also helped that they were on a 2-win streak and the Dodgers had lost 2 straight.
Yeah, no,
That's
it is
Perfect seating there. I think
Also,
that's it,
the
right?
Royals have technically
Yeah,
the best
very
win
good.
percentage in the league.
You like when bad teams start doing a change.
Their offense has just been very good, and
Yeah,
they've had multiple pitchers start off really hot.
This is breaking news right now. Logan Paul and Mayweather have agreed to their fight, and it will take place in Miami on June 6th. This is the first official announcement that it is a thing. Just got that on my phone. So I guess Logan Paul is going to lose and make $8 million. Good for him.
Yep.
It's time for the best mock draft to be released. You know, we've gone over it all week. We've talked about it. Some of us a little bit harder to get fucking a hold of than others. Right?
I had
right now?
exams and a research
All
paper.
right, I don't want to hear your finals nonsense.
Get all the way off of my back.
So here we go. I will announce the first pick. Jacksonville to Trevor Lawrence. Wow. Trevor
What a
Lawrence to
shock.
Jacksonville.
What a shock.
Don't think anyone saw this coming. We might be the only mock draft out there with that. And then we got the Jets taking Zach Wilson, and I'll let you announce the third one. Probably should have wrote down who should announce what, right? Who cares? I'll just announce all of them.
I mean,
Uh,
I guess.
Number 3, we have Mac Jones going to the 49ers. This one I was on the fence about, even to this very moment, because I still think Trey Lance is an option. It
Could
seemed,
be.
I think I saw it's for them. It's down to Jones and Lance.
yeah, it's Kyle Shanahan really wants Mac Jones, and everybody else in the building really wants Trey Lance. And I mean, it's the head coach, so we'll see who has the most power in that situation.
I think the reports of that Mac Jones is super good at actually like being able to read defenses and being able to learn.
Super smart is what I read. Photographic memory
he
is
has
what they say.
very good football IQ.
Football IQ.
Which is, I guess, what you need. Number 4, we have a trade. We have Miami trading with Atlanta. This would be they would swap their top 10 picks, plus, I assume, second rounder, third round, one of their other first rounders, maybe. Who the fuck knows? We don't actually know. We just said that there's going to be a trade. Miami has the trade capital to do that, obviously, so we're not just saying this is impossible.
Yeah.
And
the
they get Jamar
Chase. Falcons would end up picking the same person that they likely pick it for anyways.
We have Miami going back up to 4, and they are going to grab Jamar Chase ahead of the Bengals, and this would let the Bengals pick Sewell, which is what everyone...
is what they should do.
What they should do. I mean, this is best case scenario for Joe Burrow's career here.
Yeah.
I mean, we really are just looking out for Joe Burrow. I think we might be the only people that are looking out for Joe Burrow. Why does Cincinnati not like Joe Burrow? They want this man to die. I don't know. Doesn't make sense. But so we have Miami taking Jamar Chase, the Bengals taking Sewell, and then the Falcons would be there due to their trade with Miami. They grab Kyle Pitts, which I think, I mean, he's a huge favorite in this draft.
Yeah, I think that's who they'd pick it for anyways. So
I think they would realize that if they back up anyway.
Yeah, that Miami's probably not because they have Gesicki, and then that just wouldn't. I mean, not that getting him would be bad for the Bengals, but
I think they're either wide receiver or
because they do need a tight end as well. So it wouldn't be the craziest thing.
Pitts is a, but they need someone to block.
Yeah, no, they need
Pitts can't block, but he is a very much go.
They need a very good offensive lineman, which is
so we have
in the
Falcons
prime spot to do that.
The Falcons picking Kyle Pitts at 6. 7, we have the Lions grabbing Devontae Smith. I find it insane that some people don't have him in the top 10 or even the top 20
over him,
and which is understandable. Waddle's incredible, but I mean, this man just won the fucking Heisman.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, a lot of people are talking about how he's not built. He's very, but I think that's smoke and mirrors. I think that's shit like the Lions PR being like, hey, tell all these people that he's not built.
Yeah, and they want him to still be available,
so that he'll fall at 7. Yeah.
He was also saying we're here to play football. Like, I'm not a weightlifter. I'm not a bodybuilder. Like, my main goal is to play football, and
he's fast as fuck and very good at playing football.
He did just win a shit ton of awards, including the Heisman last year.
The Lions haven't had a
championship.
The Lions haven't had a great wide receiver since Kelvin Johnson. I think Devontae Smith can fix that for him for sure. Number 8,
they had Kenny Galladay. Granted, he had injury concerns.
I mean, he didn't do Kelvin Johnson.
Well, I agree with that as well, but Galladay was good when he was healthy.
They need a wide receiver, and they need Devontae Smith. Makes all the sense. The Panthers are going to get an offensive lineman, Rashawn Slater. The Panthers can do anything here. All right, there's really...
They could trade out.
They could trade out. They can trade a quarterback. They can... there's a lot of moves that they can make. I think they're going to go with an offensive lineman, protect Sam Darnold, who they just got. Why move on from a quarterback before he even plays a game? You know what I mean? Let's let Sam Darnold settle. Granted, the Panthers don't really tell that much of the truth. They said Teddy Bridgewater's their guy. They said that. He's gone. They said Cam Newton was their guy. He's gone. They're saying Sam Darnold's their guy. We'll see how that fucking pans out in a year, but not looking good for good old Sam Darnold.
I think an offensive lineman's probably because they have like above average wide receivers. They have McCaffrey.
Yeah.
I mean, if they pick defense here, I also wouldn't be too shocked because they do have holes in defense as well.
Since Kuechly retired, I don't think they've had like a good linebacker. So Parsons could be on the team.
Yeah, but I still think they go O-line here. Protect their brand new quarterback.
Main concern.
And then speaking of Micah Parsons, we have him going 9th to the Broncos. I mean, I always said he's probably going to be the first defender off the board. He's fucking disgusting. And then there are talks that the Cowboys really need a cornerback, and the Patriots just came out today and said that they are willing to trade a cornerback to get into the top 10, that cornerback being Stephon Gilmore. I think Dallas would gladfully take that. Gladfully?
That's just not a word.
That's not a word at all. Happily take that. We originally had them taking Surtain. I think if they back up 5, they could still probably get Horn or whoever's on the board. I don't think both of them are going in those 5 picks. I think they're happy with either of them. So for number 10, we do have the Patriots trading up and getting Justin Fields because every other mock draft has him out of the top 10 now, and I think that's fucking insane. And I think it's, when we were discussing this mock draft, Luke, I think it's a little bit of me being optimistic because I badly wanted to throw a Patriots trade in there. I mean, I was like, they could trade for the
I
Panthers, they could trade
just
for the
let you
Broncos.
do it.
And I think it's a little bit of me being a little bit optimistic, but it's also a little bit of you being like, there's no way the Patriots could be good again. You don't want this to happen as much as I want this to happen.
I don't want it to happen.
And I think both of our biasness kind of got in the way of this potentially being a very real trade.
I know.
come
I
draft
mean,
night.
if Gilmore is truly available and that it makes sense for the Cowboys. I mean, it would also make sense just to pick Surtain. But if you're able to get the 15th pick from the Patriots in this as well,
and Gilmore,
then it would make
you
sense.
move back 5 and you get
You can get another.
Just 2 years ago, he was Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
He had COVID last year.
You get a star cornerback duo because you draft another.
Yeah, because Horn or Surtain is still going to be. I don't think they're both getting picked up in the 10 through 15.
And even if there's also Asante Samuel Jr., there's a couple other cornerbacks that they could grab as well that are first round talent. So even if Horn and Surtain happen to get picked within those 5 before there's still more on the table that they can fill that cornerback spot with.
Correct.
There's also plenty of defensive players to grab as well.
Well said.
I appreciate
It was
that.
really well said.
That's why I said it.
But I can't wait for the Patriots to trade up on draft night. I think it's going to be fucking crazy.
What if they trade back?
That's also a thing that they do a lot. It didn't make sense when they did it last year, but I guess last year's trade kind of worked out for now. Kyle Duggar's a stud.
Did turn out to be.
I mean, we could have got him. We could have
Probably
still
could've
got a
just gotten
first
him
round
with our
pick
second round
and
pick.
got him in the second anyway.
Yeah.
But that's Bill Belichick. You brought up how he could possibly trade for 8 and get Micah Parsons, which I can see.
Panthers might
see
do that
Bill
too.
Belichick doing that. I can see Belichick being like, yeah, we're gonna move up, and then all the fans are gonna get excited. We're gonna be like, holy shit, we're grabbing Justin Fields, Trey Lance, and then we're gonna draft another defensive player because that's what Bill Belichick does.
Imagine
Honestly,
if you guys
if we
traded
get-
up to 8 and then drafted an offensive lineman.
Oh, dude,
Oh my god. Listen,
That'd be so
I'd be
sad.
fine with a quarterback or Parsons, to be honest. If they move up for Parsons,
if they move
be
up
okay
for
with it.
Parsons and Justin Fields is still on the board, I'm gonna be disappointed. If Justin Fields is not on the board by then, that's fine. But I'm
think
very
even if
high.
he
on Justin
is. I don't think I'd mind because I think even if we draft Fields, I think we still go Cam this year.
I don't think we
Possibly.
go. I don't
I
think
don't
we go Cam as long as we did last year. If we have Fields, I think he's on a
Depending
way shorter leash
he's on
than
a
he
shorter
was.
leash for sure. But I think next year's quarterback draft class is pretty good as well.
I have
If I'm not
no
mistaken.
idea any quarterbacks in next year.
You're gonna want to hope. You're gonna want to
to find
get
out.
yourself with that.
Yeah,
'cause
no. I
you're gonna want to get yourself familiar with those.
Yeah, no.
Um,
I will. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't even tell you one. Who's not?
You got JT
What is
JT Daniels out of Georgia. You got
Tagovailoa, right?
Sam
Is he?
Howell. I don't think
Is Tagovailoa not this next year? He's the year after.
he might be next year, but I don't know if he's first round talent. at the
No, he's
moment.
not. I'm not saying he's gonna be
No.
first round
You
talent.
got Sam Howell out of North Carolina, Spencer Rattler out of Oklahoma, JT Daniels out of Georgia, Bo Nix from Auburn. It's a solid draft class next year. So if we don't get a quarterback this year and we stick with Cam throughout the year, I mean, and we get Parsons, because Hightower's probably got maybe this season. This season probably his last.
One or two, I
One
think.
or two, and we need to fill that spot. And Parsons is probably the best defender in this year's draft class.
Yeah, I mean, what are you really hoping the Steelers do? I mean, an offensive lineman, running back, it really all kind of helps you. Quarterback.
Yeah, I think
If Trey Lance is available at 24, I mean,
There's no way.
I'm not saying
I don't.
he is, but if he,
I think
quarterbacks
if
drop.
if he
People
is,
drop.
yeah.
This
Yeah,
is a
people
thing
drop.
that happens.
I personally think that the top 5 quarterbacks, so the top 3 that we have, but including Lance and Fields, will be gone by 24. And I think that if Najee Harris is there at 24, then we pick him at 24. And if he's not, either
Lineman.
that or we trade back and still get an offensive lineman. Because I mean, there's also a decent amount of good running backs in this draft class as well.
Yeah.
So we could very easily pick someone in the second or the third round. I mean,
Or you hold
I
off
like-
and get Master Teague next season. I mean, that's
yeah,
always an option.
we have to draft a running back. I would love Najee Harris, but at the same time, I don't. If he's there, I don't. Just with the amount that they've talked about him, that I don't think they draft an offensive lineman over him, I wouldn't be completely I wouldn't be like, that's awful if we decided to draft like a center with it, because we don't have one.
You need a center.
Yeah, we're going to draft a center at some point. So if that's the thing that we solidify, so if you have a top center as your, what you should, I wouldn't be upset about it. I think there's, whatever we do, it probably won't upset me. Just because
I don't think you're going to make a play here that's going to impact the team too much this season.
Yeah.
I don't think this draft is your guys' draft. I mean, the Patriots kind of need a good draft here. If they want to get things rolling. This draft
is an attempt to fix the running game that did not exist.
Yeah.
That's what they're trying to do.
Correct.
Whether they pick a running back in the first, second, or third, or
a lineman to help.
Lineman, because we need a center, we need a tackle. Like, there's multiple different things that we need. So,
but I'm excited. By the next time we are here, we will have at least the first round all settled out. We will be shocked when the Jacksonville Jaguars pick Zach Wilson over Trevor Lawrence on the first. Can you imagine
if
the Jets fuck this up? If the Jets pick fucking Mac Jones or Trey Lance, and then what do the Niners do in that situation? You gotta go Zach Wilson.
You go
right?
Zach Wilson. Yeah. But
even though they haven't talked to him much, because they
haven't, because the Jets are probably that's probably
the Niners have Mac Jones and Trey Lance in their sights, so the Niners are in a position where they can take.
Also, whoever's drafted by them goes into a great situation.
Fantastic situation. I mean, almost similar to the situation Patrick Mahomes was in when he was drafted to Kansas City. They have an offense that was young and ready to learn. A quarterback that's just on his edge of getting out with Jimmy Garoppolo. The wide receiver core is disgusting. I mean, they're all very young. It's a great situation. Whoever's getting picked third is going to be very, very happy about where they are.
It was a smart decision by the 49ers.
It was, and I think a lot of people are like, oh, if you're just going to do this just to grab Mac Jones anyway. I don't know why we're hating too much on Mac Jones so quickly. I get he's not the speedster.
Everyone's like, oh, because he had Devontae Smith, that's why he was so good.
I get it, but I mean, he could still make those plays. His football IQ is still up there.
He had a good team around him in Alabama, but if you
he's going to have a good one in the Niners.
He's going to have a good team around him.
I mean, isn't that what you want?
Yeah,
don't you want someone who can play good with a good team?
Yeah.
I'd rather have that than someone who can play bad with a good team, right? Common fucking sense here. But a lot of people are hating on the 49ers if they're just going to pick Mac Jones, but he's going to go in the top 10 anyway.
Yeah,
so.
I wouldn't entirely hate it if I was a 49ers fan and they picked Mac Jones. I mean, the dude, like, they just won the fucking championship. So, like, it's just
there are a lot of
things.
Patriots fans that are like, oh, we could trade 15 and get Jimmy Garoppolo. Why would we do that? Why would you trade the 15th overall pick for Jimmy fucking Garoppolo?
Yeah. Just let him go.
Come on, dude.
Let the dream die.
He hasn't been healthy in fucking...
Yeah.
He's been on the 49ers for 3 years, has played 2. Made it to the Super Bowl in one of them. Pretty good.
Yeah, he's been injury prone.
Yeah. Let that dream die.
It needs to die. And it needs to start with us moving up and grabbing Justin Fields at 10. It's going to be it's going to be a big moment. I mean, the NFL is going to turn upside down. It's going to be big.
It would be wild.
Justin Fields. I mean, the things that he can learn from Cam Newton, too. Because whether or not you believe Cam Newton's a good quarterback or not, he has the quarterback knowledge.
Well, he's a veteran. He's been successful in his career.
Won an MVP.
Yeah.
Has the Super Bowl experience.
Yeah, he's been to a Super Bowl.
Failed in the Super Bowl, so I'm sure he has a lot to teach on how... I'm sure he
dive
knows...
on a fumble in the Super Bowl.
Dive on a loose ball.
I'm sure he knows what he did wrong in that Super Bowl and what he could fix. And I mean... Granted, I don't know if that relationship, if he's going to be good because he knows Justin Fields is here to replace him 100%, but it seems on all accounts from this past year that he was very helpful at Stidham and taught him a lot. So who the fuck knows? Can't wait for this draft. I'm hoping someone fucking shakes it up. I'm hoping someone does something crazy. I hope there's just a dumb pick. It's gonna because last year seemed a little boring. Last year it seemed like everyone
didn't
knew
even have a first round pick. So I literally
last year
I watched the first day without even.
Last year was like Burrow. Like the only really surprising thing about last year was that the Tua Herbert thing. Like that was the who was going
to go first.
But either way, you knew Tua was either going to the Chargers or Miami, and same with Herbert. This year seems like we have a little bit more shock value. I mean, Trevor Lawrence,
more
Zach
quarterbacks
Wilson
involved in it. With only like one really solidified Zach Wilson is kind of solidified now, but he might not be. We don't know.
I believe he is, and I mean last year's draft didn't get interesting until Green Bay Packers decided to go with Jordan Love in the first round. That was 24th pick. That's when everyone started talking about the draft.
Yeah.
So it was just a regular, boring, all null trade draft. But we have a couple trades in our mock draft here. We will get a graphic and hopefully get that out before Thursday night. But yeah, that's the end of the show. And by this time next week, we will have everyone drafted. We'll have everyone drafted. All the rounds will be done, I think, by Tuesday, right?
Yeah, no, it's a 3-day thing.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, Noah, where can they find us?
Find us at jnlsportshow.com. All of our social media at the top. Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. And if you're watching on YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, ring the bell, all that good stuff. And on our website, scroll down past our logo, and you can find all the platforms where you can listen to all episodes of the show. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all the other ones. Luke. You know.
Red Sox are hot.
Sox.
Still in first place. They did have an ugly game on Saturday. They did unfortunately split the series with the Mariners, but we continue on. We're still up. We're still in first place by 2 or 3 games.
Splitting it is better than
losing
it.
that is very. Sunday's win was huge because
Correct.
if you lose 3 out of 4, I mean the Mariners record wise have been good, so it's not like it's not like they're like the last in their division and they're like, oh, they randomly won 3 games. They did go into the series having a very similar record to us, but I don't know. It's just
Before we go, Nike has signed a superstar. Once again, the shoe company.
Mm-hmm.
Peyton Pritchard's. Welcome to the Nike team.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely
Peyton
incredible.
Pritchard.
Love to
Okay.
see it.
Love to see it. Good shit, Peyton Pritchard.
Big news for Nike there. I really hope he does good. That's fucking awesome. I just read that and I was like, that's great. Why'd they grab him? You think Nike can have anyone they want, right? Fucking Peyton Pritchard's.
It is kind of wild. Peyton Pritchard was our... Because we had 3 first-round picks this past draft. I think he was our 3rd one. And he's turned out the best.
Yeah.
Neesmith hasn't really done much. I don't even remember who our other one was.
That's the end of the show, guys. And we will see you on Friday after all the first round is done. And can't wait to talk about it.